Breaking news! Something is happening within the Ravens organization, and it's not just fan frustration. A controversial decision is drawing attention, a promising talent is being ignored, and this raises a big question. What's really going on behind the scenes in Baltimore? The decisions they didn't make may speak louder than the ones they did, and the consequences could define the entire season. But before we begin, don't forget to like this post if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you want, comment, "Go Ravens," to show you're with the team, no matter what. Now let's get into it. The Ravens' pass rush has been a lingering sore spot all season. With Nnamdi Madubuike out for the year, something the team has known for a long time, fans expected the front office to act boldly at the trade deadline. The need was clear. The options were out there. But instead of swinging big, Baltimore opted for modest reinforcements, bringing in Draymond Jones, a versatile lineman who's seeing more work on the edge than the interior this season, and taking a flyer on Carl Lawson, currently waiting to be activated from the practice squad. Solid moves? Maybe. Game-changing? That's up for debate. John Harbaugh himself admitted that Jones hasn't done much rushing from the inside this year, despite being capable of it. So the same problem remains. The Ravens are still lacking punch up the middle. It begs the question, if the Ravens didn't go all in at the trade deadline, why not give someone already on the roster a shot? Why not Anius Peebles? Peebles, a rookie draft pick, was praised during the offseason for his versatility. He can bring pressure both inside and out. Some have even likened him to a smaller Nnamdi Madubuike. Yet despite the desperate need for interior disruption, Peebles has been sitting on the inactive list. Why? What's the worst that could happen? He doesn't get a pass rush? Newsflash, the current group isn't getting one either. Injecting fresh legs and youthful hunger into this rotation might be exactly what this team needs down the stretch. And if the front office is indeed trying to breathe new life into the defensive line, why not go all in? Carl Lawson, if healthy, could make a difference. But this is a player who hasn't seen the field much and is working his way back. David Ohabo? His snap count is trending in the wrong direction, and many expect him to land on the inactive list soon. Meanwhile, the Ravens' supposed solution to their defensive woes lies in used. Anius Peebles deserves his shot. Now let's talk about the coaching decisions and philosophies that have fans scratching their heads. One fan nailed it by saying the team often has the right personnel, but the usage rates just don't reflect it. Wideouts like Tez Walker and Tylan Wallace have the potential to shine but are being buried behind a scheme that funnels opportunities to Zay Flowers and the tight ends. Charlie Kolar is another name that gets love from fans but sees little action. And then there's the baffling rotation in the backfield, with explosive Keaton Mitchell getting limited touches despite showing flashes of game-breaking ability, while Justice Hill continues to receive snaps out of what feels like loyalty more than production. The offensive line is another sore subject. Fans are fed up with watching Patrick McCrary and Ben Cleveland struggle to hold the line. Time and time again, Lamar Jackson is left exposed, and when he's not, the running game still finds a way to sputter. How is it possible that with Derrick Henry, one of the most powerful runners in NFL history, this team can't consistently convert short yardage situations? It's mind-boggling. The failure to secure even 1 yard at the goal line with a beast like Henry is not a player problem, it's a coaching and scheme issue. Then there's the looming concern that keeps fans up at night. Has the organization truly failed Lamar Jackson? Nearly a decade into his career, Jackson is still without a Super Bowl appearance. One passionate fan argued that it's not Lamar who has fallen short, but the coaching staff and front office. While other franchises have shown faith in their quarterbacks by going all in, the Rams with Stafford, the Eagles with Hurts, Baltimore appears content with just enough. This isn't about Lamar's talent. It's about whether the Ravens are willing to do what it takes to elevate him with aggressive roster building. And what about Harbaugh? The longtime head coach has his loyalists, but more and more fans are starting to question whether he's the one holding this team back. The name Mike Macdonald has come up. What if he were head coach instead of defensive coordinator? Would the Ravens have a different identity? Would they be more aggressive? Would they play to win instead of playing not to lose? Even more striking, fans are beginning to turn their eyes toward ownership. What will it take for Steve Bisciotti to hold the regime accountable? Eric DeCosta may have brought in Draymond Jones, but that move alone isn't enough to satisfy a fan base hungry for championships. The Ravens had cap space. They had assets. They had needs. And yet, they hesitated. Picking up right where we left off, the voices of Ravens fans have grown louder, more passionate, and increasingly unified around one idea: something has to change. Not just small tweaks or safe acquisitions, real, foundational change. Because the truth is, this fan base isn't fooled by stats or empty promises. They see what's happening. They know the difference between a playoff team and a true Super Bowl contender. And right now, they're questioning whether this team, under the current regime, can ever be the latter. One recurring theme from fans is a sense of underachievement. That with the talent this team has, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Kyle Hamilton, they should be in a different tier. But instead of rising, they're plateauing. And in a league where windows close fast, that stagnation is dangerous. The fans feel it. They're not just disappointed by missed trades or questionable play calls. They're disillusioned by what feels like an organizational ceiling that no one is willing to break through. There's also growing concern that some players' prime years are being squandered. Lamar Jackson isn't just a good quarterback. He's a once-in-a-generation player. Yet his playoff resume still lacks that deep run. Zay Flowers has already proven he can be a top-tier receiver, but he's being held back by a scheme that doesn't fully unleash his skill set. And then there's the case of Keaton Mitchell, who fans are practically begging to see more of, especially after Todd Monken and John Harbaugh seemed to throw him under the bus earlier in the season, only for him to make big plays once finally given a shot. It's frustrating, and the fans aren't wrong to feel that way. One fan brought up an uncomfortable but necessary question: why is John Harbaugh still here? Not in a disrespectful way. Harbaugh is a Super Bowl winning coach, after all, but in a what are we doing here way. Other legendary coaches, even Andy Reid and Bill Belichick, have been fired or moved on when things got stale. Harbaugh, meanwhile, seems to be the untouchable exception. But is that good for the team's future? Especially when younger, more aggressive minds like Mike McDonald are thriving elsewhere? Some even floated the idea of Spagnuolo or Brian Flores as potential replacements if Harbaugh were to go, and those aren't just fantasy ideas. Those are defensive minds who've shown they can adapt, scheme, and elevate talent. In fact, fans are already connecting the dots. If Odafoa is suddenly putting up sacks with the Chargers, but struggled in Baltimore, isn't that a scheme issue? It's a fair question, one that points directly at the coaching staff and the system they're running. Then there's Eric DeCosta. For all the praise he's received in past off-seasons, many are wondering if he's playing things too safe. His failure to capitalize on a season with this much talent, cap space, and opportunity has many in the flock side-eyeing the front office. Why weren't more aggressive moves made? Why was Ben Cleveland considered a fallback option at right guard when he's clearly not in Harbaugh's plans? Why does it always feel like this team waits until it's too late? And even when they do bring in new blood, like Draymond Jones or Carl Lawson, fans can't help but wonder if it's more of the same. Band-aids on bullet wounds. Carl Lawson could be a great piece, but is he the difference maker the Ravens needed? Can he even get enough snaps to make that impact, especially with Harbaugh's history of veteran rotations? What's maybe most revealing about the fan base's current state of mind is how deep these frustrations go. It's not just about this season, it's about the cumulative letdowns of the past few years. A fan named Jalen captured it perfectly. It feels like they're okay just being in the mix, never going all in, like they don't really believe in Lamar. That's a heavy accusation, but one that's becoming harder to ignore. If the team truly believed Jackson could lead them to a championship, wouldn't they do more to surround him with elite support? Instead, the Ravens seem caught in a cycle, good enough to make the playoffs, not bold enough to break through. Even the way the team uses its offensive talent has fans shaking their heads. Why bring in a guy like Derrick Henry if you can't trust your offensive line to block for him in short yardage situations? Why boast about depth at receiver when the offense remains so tight end and Zay-centric? Why draft Onyus Peebles, see his potential as a disruptive force inside, then